I didn't mean to notice him, but the moment our eyes met across the neon-lit club, everything froze. He was impossibly tall, perfectly dressed, and exuded danger the way a storm exudes lightning. I was supposed to have fun that night, but I ended up being noticed by Seoul's deadliest Mafia king. When he approached me, his gaze was both curious and commanding. "Do you know who I am?" he asked softly, his voice low, but sharp enough to cut through the music. I didn't, but I would soon learn that ignorance was a dangerous luxury. One drink led to another, and I realized I couldn't escape his attention. It was thrilling, terrifying, and intoxicating all at once. One night, one kiss, and suddenly my life would never be the same. By the time the club emptied, we had left together not by chance, but by choice, or so I thought. Little did I know, I had just signed my name into a world I couldn't escape. I woke up alone, the sunlight cruel against my skin, but I felt the weight of his presence lingering. He had left no note, no explanation, yet I felt as though he was watching me from afar. When I returned to work, my phone buzzed. A single message: "Meet me at the penthouse, noon. Don't be late." My heart raced. This wasn't just a man. I realized he was the storm that was about to destroy and claim me. I entered the penthouse and finally saw him, commanding the room like a king surveying his empire. Kang Min-Jae, Mafia king of Seoul. Every headline, every whisper, every fear I'd read about him, all were true. He didn't smile. "You should be careful where you step," he said, eyes locking onto mine. "One wrong move and your life ends before it even begins." And just like that, I understood I wasn't safe, but I was irresistible to him. The moment I tried to leave, I realized the city itself was against me. Guards, followers, whispers, they knew my name before I did. Escape wasn't an option. He came closer, his hand brushing my shoulder lightly, possessively. "You belong in my world now," he whispered. I wanted to run, yet every instinct told me to stay. And I did, trembling, but staying. At the dinner table, he spoke as if discussing business, but every word felt like a threat and a promise. "Marry me," he said flatly. "It's the only way I can protect you from them. And from yourself." I laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but the hard glint in his eyes told me otherwise. This was no joke. This was fate. His lips were soft, yet every touch screamed danger. In the middle of his private study, surrounded by power and dark secrets, he leaned close. My body froze, yet it betrayed me. "I warned you," he murmured against my ear. "Now you belong to me, whether you like it or not." I shivered, part fear, part desire, and entirely captivated. He didn't talk much, but when he did, it changed everything. I discovered layers of power, loyalty, and danger I never imagined. One wrong step for me could destroy an empire, but amidst the danger, he confided things no one else had heard. His vulnerability drew me in, even though every part of me screamed, "Stay away." Yet I couldn't. I learned that loving him meant becoming a target. Rival mafia families whispered my name like a curse. Threats followed me home. He didn't panic, he prepared. "They can try," he said, pulling me close, "but no one touches what's mine." Fear mingled with excitement. I knew I was already in too deep. Marriage wasn't about love yet. It was about survival. Signing the documents felt cold, official, yet my hand shook under the weight of what I'd agreed to. He didn't hold my hand yet. Instead, he watched me like a hawk, calculating, protective, possessive. The line between fear and passion blurred. That night, I realized I had entered his world completely. Guards patrolled outside my door, and his presence loomed over me like a shadow I couldn't escape. Yet when he finally entered, it wasn't with aggression, but with a calm, slow claim. "No one else matters," he said. "Not tonight. Not ever." And in that moment, the dangerous city faded, just us. I began seeing his life, the darkness, the enemies, the empire he controlled. Love here wasn't soft. It was blood, power, and loyalty. I had choices: stay and risk everything, or leave and live a normal life. But leaving felt impossible. My heart had already chosen, whether I admitted it or not. Someone close to him was planning something, and I stumbled upon the evidence. My hands shook, knowing the power I now held over life and death in his world. When he discovered I had seen the secrets, his eyes were dark with a warning. "You're treading a dangerous line," he said. "One misstep, and you'll regret it forever." A rival family attacked his men, and chaos consumed the city streets. Gunfire, sirens, screams. I watched, helpless, as the world he ruled burned around us. He grabbed my hand tightly. "Stay behind me," he ordered, voice sharp, and I realized my safety was now entirely in his hands. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. I was part of his empire now. I never saw it coming. A masked man appeared from the shadows, dragging me into a van before I could scream. The last thing I heard before the doors slammed shut. His voice, breaking through the chaos, calling my name. "No, don't take her. Will she survive the night? Who's behind the attack? The city's deadliest man isn't just a protector. He's about to face the fight of his life."